my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who's new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is going to be another review because I know I have been working with a lot of palettes lately and I have formed an opinion. I have done a lot of looks and now we're going to talk about the Norvina 4 palette from ABH, which is of course Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is my fourth palette. I have them all of the Norvina palettes, and if you're not new here, you know that I have been super happy with the performance of the three previous ones, and then when this one came out I was so enamored. Does one say that? Enamored, in love, you know? So anyway, because it is for the most part of course neutrals, like cold neutrals and also rosy tones, which so speaks to me, because for me this is really a neutral palette, even though my look today probably does not look super neutral, but it kind of is, you know. In the world of a peacock, this is neutral, sweeties, okay? Okay, so this is the palette we're going to talk about today. This is how she looks. I think it is a very beautiful palette, and I ordered this. Actually, this is one of the few occasions where I'm actually ordering something like on pre-sale or on release right then and there, waiting for the release, having a timer set, because I was so scared that that would sell out. I'm not 100% sure now if this was limited edition, but I'm pretty sure this wouldn't come to anywhere in Europe, so that's why I ordered it. I believe either from Sephora or Anastasia Beverly Hills website. I'm not 100% sure anymore. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but I ordered it immediately and it shipped to my best friend in the US, and then she sent it to me. So I started to work with this because I wanted to, among all the other super colorful palettes that are waiting for me to work with them, I just felt like I needed to have some, I don't know, some calm something, you know, and this palette has surprised me so much because you can really do, of course, very neutral looks, beautiful neutral looks, and I still actually want to do a little bit more with this also, but you can also do super vibrant like today, and in a few other looks I also went like really colorful. But anyway, you're going to see the looks in just a second. So yeah, so this is what we're talking about today. I think just from looking at it, you know, I think this is a super successful thought through palette, though I have one thing that I would change, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Okay, of course you're going to get to see swatches because this is such a big palette. I will not swatch this live in the video now. I'm going to film it separately and insert the clip, but I want to just swatch some of my favorite shades because it's just so much fun and I need to practice. I need to practice to swatch straight. Okay, so what I want to do is actually swatching you know, some of my favorite shades, and that is, for example, this one, which is A2, and that is I want to say that it bugs me a tiny little bit that the shades don't have real names, and I already said that in the reviews for the other Norvina palettes that I don't like that. I want to have real names. I mean, they could hire me to do, like, to come out with names, you know, or to come out with names, to come up with names. Anyway, so here you can see this is a beautiful shade. It has a very slight light blue shift to it. It's beautiful. I don't know if you can see the shade so much. I never know till I'm editing the video if you're actually seeing anything, but I can see in the viewfinder that you can see how foiled it is. So that is already a big plus. Okay, so let's go on to this one here, which is also one of my most favorite shades in the palette, which is this beautiful like a dusty purple, and also that has a blue shift to it. Of course, this shift is probably, if you can see it, I don't know, this shift is much stronger than the one in the pink. Can you see anything? You gotta let me know. Anyway, this is a very dusty purple, and it is beautiful, and you're going to see that also in a few minutes when I'm showing you the looks that I did with the palette, that I used this. I think that must have been even the first look that I did with the palette. I used this on my lid and I just blended it out with this in my crease and up, and it was just a classic smoky eye, and I just had a black liner and like big lashes, of course, because I do big lashes, but that was so beautiful. Just those two 2 shades, you know? And that is something where I think, wow, if a palette can just provide you with something like this, then this is just, it's insanely beautiful, you know? Okay, I also definitely want to swatch the pressed glitters for you, because this is a binder that I just wanted to point out. If you have seen my last review, which was the one of the Alien Cosmetics Summer on Earth palette, the binder there was like insanity, okay? So I couldn't even swatch the shadows with a finger. Now this one here, I can definitely swatch with my finger, and you can see that this is a beautiful shade. It also has like iridescent glow to it. It shifts like gold, and it also shifts green and blue, and it's really beautiful while the base is white. And you can see that there is no fallout. There is nothing there where I could complain, you know? The binder is sort of a good mid-range binder. I don't know really how to put it in a better English. It's something that you can work easily with, okay? It is not the strongest binder ever. Also today I used this shade and also the other glitter shade on my lid, and there was a little bit of fallout even though I used it on a glitter glue, but still it is not like a bad binder or something. It is beautiful, workable, easy to work with, okay? So this is how it looks. Now that was this shade I should have showed you before. That was this shade, and now this one, this is E3. E3, and that is the second pressed glitter in the palette. Now I know that a lot of people had problems when they saw this palette and saw that there's going to be pressed glitters in it. I don't have problems. I love it. It just makes it more beautiful for me. So there you go. This is like a dusty rose kind of a shadow, but it has, when you shift it, and I hope you can see it, it has like I don't know, like a purple golden gleam to it. I don't know. I hope this makes any sense. But anyway, this is a super beautiful shade. What else did I wanted to show you? Another dusty rose. Another dusty rose, because I guess this is just what I'm living for these days, is this one. This is D4, and it is a super beautiful shade, which you're going to see in just a second. It sort of adds up a little bit, or like combines itself with the glitter that we just saw, because it sort of leans into the same direction, and it also has like a golden sheen to it. It's so beautiful. This is how it looks. Wow, my swatches look so good. I'm so proud of myself. All right, so maybe you can see that this is just so pretty. So let's just maybe swatch two more shades that are a little bit more neutral. Let me just wipe my hands off. Just to be fair, you know, because I don't want to only point out the colorful shades. So let's just go for B4, which is this one right here. This one, which is also a shimmer shade. Maybe I'm also going to swatch a matte. Maybe that I should do that too. Okay, so here we go. Beautiful. I love my swatches. All right, so this is really pretty. I hope I'm not going to mess this up now with the remaining swatches that I'm going to do here. Maybe let's go for this one, because that is a beautiful, just neutral taupe shade, which is a must. It's a definite must in this palette, because this is basically the shade where you deepen up the neutral tones with, you know? So Leorah, concentrate so this doesn't turn into a mess now. Okay. How does this look? It's okay. It's okay. It's straight. At least it's straight. Okay, this swatched a little bit crumbly. I have to say that is usually what happens to me when I'm swatching mattes. Like, unless they are like super over the top creamy, they crumble on me. Maybe this is my skin. Maybe it's the hair that I have here. I don't know. It is what it is. So let's maybe go for one more shade, which is this one. And then I'm going to also swatch this one maybe, because that is the darkest one of the rosy shades. So, and then I think we have a good range, and of course you're going to see all the other shades in just a bit when I'm inserting the clip. Okay, you can see also this is crumbly on me. That's just what happens to me. I don't know. It is what it is. All right, and then the darkest one of the, it's like it's not really a red wine shade, but oh, seriously, when I'm touching the shadows, it feels like I don't know, velvet. It's very beautiful. Like, just the feel on my fingers is just, I want to dig my whole hands in. Oh, look at these swatches. So proud proud of myself right now. Anyway, so this is a small selection of swatches. Of course, it's not the whole palette, obviously, but there you go. This is how they look. Okay, so let's maybe just go ahead and include the looks that I did with the palette so you get an impression of like how I played around with this palette, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk a little bit more about this beauty. Okay, sweeties, this is of course what I did so far with the palette. I'm planning to do more with this because I want to dig into those cold neutrals and just do some really, really stunning neutral, completely neutral looks with this one. I have to say that this yellow here, this matte yellow, was a super surprise for me. When this released, that was the only shadow I didn't understand, you know, but this makes so much sense. And you probably saw also that one look where I had this yellow at the inside of my crease, and then I blended it out with, I think, this shade or this shade, I don't remember anymore, and that was so stunning, you know. It makes so much sense. So that was a huge surprise for me. So let's maybe talk also a little bit about today's look, because that is of course my review look. So I'm going to zoom you in just a second and show you from close up. Let me just tell you what I did today, if I can remember. What did I do? I don't remember anymore. I think, yeah, this one I used in the inner part of my crease, and then I blended it out with this one to the outside, and then I put this one on my lid, and above that I layered this one at the inner corner and then this one at the middle section of the lid. Then I blended it out with, well, what was that? I think this one. Don't remember anymore. I think this one is in the outer corner, and I backed it up a tiny little bit with this one. Not the inner corner, the outer corner. Sorry for confusing you. Okay, so this is what I blended it out with, like to have a bit of a darker outer corner, and then I backed it up a tiny little bit with this one because it was just not deep enough for me. Because this one is really, really strong, and it can be very, very overpowering if you do not have something that really puts on a punch to like deepen it up, you know. While this is a very, very beautiful shade, it was in this connection or in this combination, it was just not enough for me. So I used these two basically together. Then under my lower lash line, I used, well, first of all, I did use like a dark, what is that shade? Like eggplant kind of a shade. This one here is from by Davis. That is a brand from AliExpress. I used this for the first time. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. They work okay. The thing is though, and I think I should point this out, that really what you're getting here is not a whole pencil. Basically the product, because you cannot sharpen this, and also one of those insides of the pencil, I don't know how to say that, came falling out when I opened one of them, because I ordered a couple of different shadows or colors at the same time, and it was just like this long, and then there is nothing more inside it. So basically you're getting very, very little product, but I mean the feel is okay. It wears good, and it's also very, very cheap, of course, so I don't know what you can really expect, but anyway, so that's what it is. So that's what I did on my waterline, and then under my lower lash line what did I do? I used this shadow here, this one, and deepened it up a little bit with this, just very, very close to my lashes, and then in the inner corner or in the inner part of my lash line, basically I used this shade here, and then in the inner corner of the look altogether I used this. Wow, amazing that we got through this. Okay, so let me just zoom you in so you can take a look, a closer peek, maybe even a little bit more to scare you all. All right, so by now though, this look is a couple hours old, so if it is not 100% like perfect anymore, then please forgive me. It's just that it's really hot and I'm melting, and you know. All right, so let's move this out. And maybe, you know what, now is probably a good time to include the swatches, and then I'm going to just give you my final opinion of this palette.
bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful.
Okay, sweeties, now let's talk about this palette in depth. Of course, we have this packaging that is like a metal kind of a thing. I don't know if it's real metal or if it's just plastic that feels like metal. I'm not 100% sure, but it is definitely not cardboard packaging. And I think the whole vibe of the palette, the back is black, and this is of course this very, very rosy, light rosy tone, which is really pretty, and it sort of really feels like it belongs to this palette. Then we have a very big mirror up here, which like I don't care. I never use those mirrors, but it's huge, so that's great. Okay, and then we have of course all those beautiful shadows. Again, I have to say that I'm not liking it so much that it's just numbers and letters. It's not shade names. I would really prefer if it could be something that is special, you know. And they have done it with all of those Norvina palettes like this, and I don't know. I just don't connect to names like this. It's not that nice, I think. But besides that, let's talk about the shade range. I think the shade range is really nice for someone with my skin tone. I don't know, you guys have to let me know if you have this palette and you are of a darker complexion, how this works for you. I have no idea. I think even for me, but that has to do also with my personal makeup preference and my makeup style, I'm missing a bit of dark mattes in here, because basically you just have this one and this one. This one I did use for one of the looks, but it's of course because it's warm, it's a warm tone, so I didn't dig into this too much. But what I absolutely miss, and that is also what I sort of hinted at in the beginning of the video, I miss a dark purple, a cool dark purple matte to deepen up this and this and like anything, you know, because I think it would also be really nice to be able to do a look with these two shadows and then a dark cool purple or something like this. So I think that could have been really nice. Besides that, those dusty rose kind of tones are super beautiful. Of course, as I already told you, those cool neutrals, beautiful. Everything really worked super well in this palette. There is not a single dud, and I've used all of the shadows. Okay, so I don't think there is a dud in the palette. The whole consistency of the mattes is very velvety and creamy. Not maybe the most creamy that there is, but I always feel like it makes it easier to work with, easier to blend, easier to, I don't know, even like for beginners, if it is not super creamy, you know. I think this is a very good formula. Also, the shimmers were super pretty and like really workable and blendable, buildable also. I did not have to use them on any glitter glue or anything. I just used them the way they were, and for the most part I didn't even use like a setting spray on my brush or anything. I just used it the way it was on the brush, picked up nicely on the brush, and then usually, and that's what I do, that I'm just patting it over like with my finger, you know. That is usually what I do, so that is not a criticism, it's just what I do. Okay, so these of course I told you are really nice, beautiful shadows, or pressed glitters, of course. I think they work super well with a tiny little bit of fallout that you have to take into like consideration, that that's what's happening, but it was not like overwhelming or anything where I would say, wow, this is a turn off for me at all. So overall, I think this is super nice. Staining I have not encountered so far, though today I used this shade, so I don't know yet what it's going to come out of that, you know, because that is the first time I used this shadow. But also with this one, which is a very like, you know, pigmented shadow, I didn't encounter any staining on my eyelids at all. Blendability, I said already, was very good. Fading, I did not have any issues with. Creasing, I didn't have any issues with. The only thing really that I would change is that I would include a dark purple cool toned matte. That would be amazing. My favorites of the shimmers are definitely these three, this one, and this one. Both of the pressed glitter, sorry, I liked very much, because I am into pressed glitter, so that's why I just like naturally like them. Of the mattes, I want to say that this one was really, really beautiful. I also thought that this one is a very beautiful tone, just for like a little bit more of a more relaxed, dusty kind of a look, but still colorful, you know. It can be super, super pretty. I also liked this cold taupe matte that I already pointed out to you. Really pretty. Yeah, so I think overall that is what I can say about this palette. I have nothing really to criticize about this. I'm enjoying all of my Norvina palettes. Now, right now, you know, I'm not getting to go back a lot to my palettes that I already own. At some point I will, though. I'm not giving up on that. But just for now, for working with this palette, I'm super, super glad I spent the money, that I didn't wait till it goes on sale or anything, because usually I do that. But for this one, this could be a beautiful, beautiful palette, like the to-go-to rosy neutral palette. You know, I really, really like this, and it just performed all over. It performed really, really well. I might, in order to give me a little bit more variety, at some point maybe pull in a few darker mattes from some other palettes, maybe even a dark blue or something like this. But then again, it is, you know, if you were to include those shadows, then maybe it is just not that gentle anymore, because this whole palette has just this really, really gentle vibe, and that is what it's meant to be. You know, it's not meant to be a custom-made perfect palette for Leorah. It's supposed to be like an overall gentle, rosy, neutral palette. So that's what it is, and not everybody needs all that depth that I love to have in my looks. So that is what it is. I hope you did enjoy yourself. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and of course, if you're new here, I would love it if you were to subscribe to my channel, because my tribe is a beautiful place. You have never encountered in your life a more positive and a more beautiful place. I promise you, you're going to be super, super happy here. Besides that, of course, check out my description box, because I have everything listed, everything else that I used in my look today. If you're interested in, for example, the highlighter, this is, by the way, the one from Nomad Cosmetics, the Studio 54 collection, the Disco Nights highlighter, which I really, really love. And for blush, I used the Christy Brinkley. I don't know if this is even available anymore, because I got this quite some time ago from my best friend in the US. This is the shade Posh from Christy Brinkley. Really, really, really nice. Yeah, so anyway, everything will be listed in the description box together with everything else, like social media, contacts, and everything. Besides that, I just want to wish you a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, depending on when you're seeing this. And I want to invite you to come back for my next video, which is going to be super soon. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.